Hello there friends, welcome back to the channel. It's me, Evelyn, here with a very sleepy Luna. As always, a huge thank you to each and every single one of you for your continued love and support for this, my very own little creative corner of the internet. It is definitely winter now, my friends, here in the Scottish Highlands. It's definitely decidedly chilly, and autumn and winter in the Door Towers house definitely means one thing in terms of creativity, and that is knitting. Knitting is a great creative hobby to do in those colder months when you're in front of your favourite television show, snuggled up, maybe with a beagle or two and a cuppa. So this week, my friends, I thought I'd take you along with me and show you my finished knitting projects to date, what I've currently got on my knitting needles, and the projects that I hope to work on in the near future. Now, full disclosure, my friends, I have been knitting for almost as long as I have been sewing, but unlike with my sewing journey, I haven't really built up a decent skill set. So up until about 2 to 3 years ago, my knitting skills literally consisted of rows of stockinette stitch creating scarves. Yes, it's true. This was the case until about 2 or 3 years ago when I started learning new stitches and I began making actual knitted garments. And last year I actually created my very first knitting patterns designed by myself, all on my own, and I'm very, very proud of that. And those 2 knitting patterns, my friends, are actually available to all of you, my wonderful subscribers, free right here on the channel. And stay tuned to find out more about those, my friends. As always as well, all the information on projects that I feature in today's video will be down in that description box. If you haven't done so already, my friends, please go and hit that all important subscribe button. I'm so close to 1,000 subscribers, absolutely crazy that I can say that. So please take a second to do that. But without further ado, let's talk some knitting. With a sleepy beagle, of course. Okay, my friends, here are all my completed knitting projects. I'm actually incredibly proud of this because it took me quite some time to learn a new skill set that I needed to create these. So yes, quite proud. The one on the top here is the very first jumper I ever started. So let's look at that one first. And these can all fall off, they totally are, aren't they? So this is the first jumper I ever started to create, and it is a true vintage pattern from 1952, and the pattern has been lovingly reproduced by the gorgeous Lizzie of Killer Kitsch Designs. As I said in the intro, all details of these projects are going to be in the description box. Please be sure to check out Lizzie here on YouTube as well, because she has her own channel. So be sure to go over, give her some love and hit that subscribe button for her. Hi Lizzie. So this is actually an absolutely gorgeous jumper. And you might know, if you've been here on the channel for a while, my friends, about my love of all-in-one sleeves and kimono style jumpers and bodices. And this one, yes, no exception. It's an absolutely gorgeous jumper, and I love the batik style yarn that I used to create it and the pattern that it's created. Now, this is the first jumper I ever embarked on knitting. Don't make it easy for myself, my friends, do I? Because this actually has a stitch pattern involved. I don't know if you can see that on the screen or if it's going to focus. So yes, I never make things easy on myself, do I? But I absolutely love this jumper. Now, although I say it's the first jumper that I started to knit, it wasn't the first jumper I actually finished, because it requires you to put a zip in the back, and I was really afraid of doing this. So this actually sat in my knitting pile, I'm ashamed to say, for over 6 months until I finished it. So it wasn't actually the first garment I finished, but it was the first one I attempted. I'm actually incredibly proud of it. So my friends, the next jumper I have to show you is actually the first jumper I ever finished. So it was the first me-made knitted jumper I ever wore. And if you've been here on the channel with me for a while, you might recognise this jumper in this gorgeous mustard colour double knit yarn. It is the CLA Sweater. The CLA Sweater is actually a vintage pattern that I found, and the pattern that I found was in a really poor state and you could hardly read it. So what I did was I rewrote out the pattern, and the pattern is actually now available right here on the channel as part of my very first knit along. So I'll pop a link to that in the description box and a card above, my friends, if you'd like to create your very own CLA Sweater. So this was the first CLA Sweater that I created, and I'm incredibly proud of it. It did turn out a little on the big side because at this point I still wasn't 100% sure about swatching and tension and such like, but I absolutely love it and I'm really proud of it for the first sweater that I ever finished. So when it came to thinking about creating a knit along, I definitely wanted to create a better fitting version of this, which is exactly what I did, my friends, on that knit along, which is this one here. I absolutely love this colour. Light blue is my favourite colour in the whole entire world, so I had to create a light blue sweater. It just had to happen. And this is the CLA Sweater that came out of that knit along. So proud of this jumper. It's one of my ultimate favourite jumpers to wear, and I'm incredibly proud that I made it. It's a really accessible, beginner friendly project as well, my friends, because it's literally knits and purl stitches and some increases and decreases. And then the hardest thing I would say is the picking up the stitches to create the sleeves, but I promise you it's definitely possible for a beginner to create one of these jumpers. Put it this way, if I can do it, you definitely can too, my friends. Next up, my friends, is another all-in-one or kimono sleeve sweater. Can you see a pattern here? Yes, might be a little bit obsessed with those kimono sleeve sweaters. And this one is created in another of my favourite colours, dusky pink. And it is a true vintage pattern by designer Richard Poppleton. I believe the number is 1877. I'll correct myself on screen if I'm wrong, my friends. Details are in the description box too. And as you can see, it's got a gorgeous v-neck front and back, and it's really flattering to wear. It's got a ribbed waistband there and wrist cuffs here as well. And actually this is betraying one of my worst knitting habits, which is I don't weave in ends, because I get so excited that I've finished a jumper and seamed it that I want to wear it straight away, and I never get to weaving in those ends. So I definitely need to do this. This is one of my absolute favourites because it's incredibly flattering to wear, and I love wearing it casually over jeans, for example, while I'm taking Luna for a walk, but it also looks absolutely gorgeous tucked into a circle skirt like the Charm Patterns Stanwick skirt. Oh, I love this jumper. Absolutely gorgeous. And you can see as well, my friends, I don't know if you can see that, but it's actually knit this way rather than this way, which is a feature that I absolutely love. Again, very beginner friendly, so if you're thinking of starting out with some knitting, definitely check this pattern out. And talking of beginner friendly knitting, my friends, this next project is definitely extremely beginner friendly, and I'm proud to say it's actually the first pattern that I've ever designed. So after knitting quite a few hats myself and them coming out less than successfully, I decided to create a pattern for a knitted beret, and after a few, okay, if I'm honest, quite a few attempts and tweaks, I came up with this. A pattern for a very simple to make and knit beret, my friends. I'm really proud of this, and you can actually access this pattern, my friends, here on the channel to create your very own beret. Do you want to wear the beret, Luna? Definitely not. Let's see how it looks on, my friends. You're so funny. Hello again. Are you going to sit down so no one has to look at your butt? What are you doing? Cheeky pig, cheeky pig, cheeky pig. Are you going or are you staying? No? And the final completed knitting project I have to show you today, my friends, is this. And I'm pretty proud of this, my friends, because this is actually the very first sweater pattern that I designed myself. And I named it the Carol sweater or jumper after three very important ladies in my life who all happen to be named Carol. Yes, and it's a pattern that I designed exclusively for my subscribers here on the Evelyn Adore channel, and you can access it by heading to the community section right here on the channel. I'm actually really proud of it, and yes, it's a dolman sleeved sweater. What a shocker. I absolutely love the burgundy colour of this jumper as well, and it's very, again, beginner accessible, so definitely check that out, my friends. You nice and settled now? Yeah? So my friends, on to projects in progress, and this is the gorgeous Mame Sweater from the beautiful Bex over at Subversive Femme. Now if you haven't checked out Subversive Femme and Bex's creations yet, be sure to do so. And this Mame Sweater is a vintage inspired little roll neck here, and it's absolutely gorgeous. The pattern is inspired by true vintage styles, and the wonderful Bex has created it in a much more accessible size range. So thank you so much, Bex, and I'll pop a link to her website in the description box. Be sure to check that out, my friends. And this pattern is free. Thank you so much, Bex. I absolutely love this. You might be saying, Evelyn, that jumper looks finished. It almost is. I just need to finish the neckline, and I'm ashamed to say this has been sat on the top of my knitting pile for a while, and I have no idea why I haven't finished it, because how gorgeous this is going to look. And actually, to be honest, with the hair and makeup that I'm wearing today as well, I think I know what I'm going to be doing this evening. Finishing this, just in case you didn't realise that. Sorry. Oh goodness me, it's been a long year, friends. It's been a long year. Just sat here laughing at myself, you know, recording a YouTube video, laughing at yourself. Yeah, why not? This next project in progress is still on the needles, and I actually began it in March and it's still not finished. However, my friends, if you've been following me for any length of time here on the channel, you'll know that this year has been quite a tumultuous one, to say the least. So I'm giving myself a little bit of space to, you know, have not finished things. This project I actually began in March, and it is a sort of spring summer transition piece, so it's more for lighter weather, so I'm definitely not going to need this until next spring, so I'm giving myself a little bit more time on it. But it is the most gorgeous spring sweater from an issue of Australian Women's Weekly from 1953. Yes, all the way from 1953, and I've actually finished the front of it. Yes, the front is finished, and as you might be able to see, my friends, it's literally in 2x2 rib, and the only thing you really need to do is learn how to increase and decrease stitches. That's literally it. So definitely very beginner friendly. So the front is done, but sadly this is all I've done of the back. So it's actually a really simple piece to make. You create the front and the back, just long pieces of knitted fabric like so, and then you seam up the sides to a certain point, and then you leave a space for the armhole and then seam the rest, which folds over to make the most gorgeous Bardo style spring sweater. So I'm definitely going to get this one finished to wear next spring. And yes, gorgeous light blue, of course, my favourite colour. Sorry, did I wake you up? Bad beagle mama. My final in progress project, my friends, is the project that I'm currently working on, that is currently on my needles. And yes, it's another kimono dolman sleeved sweater. Obsessed much? This one is more winter friendly and I'm creating it in this gorgeously soft navy blue double knit yarn. Double knit is actually my ultimate favourite yarn to knit with because I do have issues with dexterity and mobility because of my disabilities, my friends. I find that a yarn any thinner than DK weight can be a little difficult for me to handle, and anything that is sort of chunky is also difficult for me to handle. I just find personally that double knit is the easiest yarn for me to knit with, so I'm really happy that this project is suitable for a double knit yarn weight. And I also really love the style of it. So this evening jumper I'm really excited to create. I haven't got that far with it, as you can see. It's a jumper that is knit from the bottom up in one piece, and this is literally the 1x1 ribbing that creates the waistband. I think this is the front I'm working on. Don't quote me on it, I might be wrong, but I'm really proud of my tension in my knitting. It's taken me a good few years to get really good consistent tension, but check this out. I'm hoping that the camera will let me pick this up, but I'm really proud of this. What do you knitters out there think? Don't know if you're going to be able to see that, but I'm incredibly proud of the tension and the consistency in that. So yes, so I'm hoping to be able to finish this jumper by Christmas. That would be nice. So I'm going to stay optimistic and hopefully that will happen, my friends. Fingers crossed. And when I have finished it, I will share it with you here on the community section of the channel. So be sure to keep an eye out for that. That actually looks really good. I think I might need to be a little bit prouder of myself of the things I create, to be honest. I think we could all do with being a bit nicer to ourselves, couldn't we? New Year's resolution, perhaps? Finally today, my friends, I wanted to chat with you about my plans for knitting projects in the near future. First up, I absolutely loved the Mame Sweater by Bex over at Subversive Femme, and she has released a second version of that sweater, Mame in New York, with the absolutely most gorgeous of round necklines. So that's definitely on my to-do list. And my friends, if you have watched any of my previous knitting content here on the channel, you might be aware of my slight obsession with the gorgeous Poison Girls and their creator Amy Appel. I absolutely love her creations and I do have quite a few of her patterns, but I am yet to start knitting any of them. That, my friends, is going to change, and I'm thinking that the very first projects I create should be something winter friendly, because that might give me a real reason to actually finish the projects before it gets too warm to wear them. So I was thinking of starting with these gorgeous set of mittens and a beret. I'm definitely loving that look, so I'm thinking of creating those in the very near future, possibly alongside the dolman sweater in navy that I'm creating. But then I'm thinking if I've got another project, it's less likely that I'm going to finish either one of them. So does anyone else do that? Do you start something else and then never end up finishing either? Yes, maybe I should concentrate on one thing at a time, but then it's me, so probably not. Amy also has the most amazing sweater patterns on her site, and I'm thinking of giving some of them a go, and I'm thinking of making this one my first. How gorgeous is this? Yes, and there is a description to Amy's gorgeous Poison Girls website in the description box, my friends. So there we go, a video this week all about another one of my favourite creative pastimes, knitting. But until next week, my friends, I'm going to go and grab a cuppa, see if this little one wants to go for a walk. A walk? Do you want to go for a walk? Oh, there we go. I think that's a yes, my friends. Until next week, take care and stay safe, my friends. You know the drill. Bye. Do you want to go for a walk? Shall we go for a walk? Come Come on then, let's go. Come on. Good girl, you're such a good girl. Yeah, good girl. Oh, big stretch, love. Oh, give you scratches. Oh, good girl. Come on then, let's go. Shake. I love you, darling. Good girl. Such a good girl. Oh, such a good little pea, yes you are.